inside now of the Landmark lanes, just a small part of the Landmark Recreation Facility. Two left-handers, Bo, ready to go. Well, what can you say, Bo?
Well, Alby a little tentative on the first shot. He throws it wide, leaves a 3-7, and they have contrasting styles. Alby bowls much like a right-hander. He's a cranker on that left side, throws the big, powerful hook ball, and everybody knows Anthony's style, down the line and accuracy. So it's a great day for left-handers. Whether you be amateur or professional, you can pick up a few tips. The 3-7 left lane. So it's an open frame for 20-year-old Mike Aulby in the very first. And this is our first game. The winner to meet, Paul Moser, another left-hander. Last week's winner, the Rolade Open champion at Dick Weber and Bob Timmy's lanes in Florissant, Missouri. He jumps on it immediately with a powerful strike, right lane. Earl Anthony with that crooked arm style, much like the great Don Carter in the 50s. Two of the most accurate bowlers that ever lived, Chris, and they have that crooked arm style where they just push their ball towards their spot, but they keep it very close to their body. All the honors. This man, three-time winner of the PBA National Championship, twice winner of the Firestone Tournament of Champions, going for a double. Leaving the 4-pin on the left lane of our first game. Earl Anthony just a little high on that shot. If any characteristic of Anthony on the championship round is usually in the early frames, he's a little shaky, and as he was last week, he got a couple lucky breaks, but then once he gets in his groove and rhythm, he is as tough as they come. Strike and a spare for Earl Anthony, who is mic'd today. Wireless microphone on Earl, and from time to time we'll probably hear a comment from him. Now Mike Aulby, who won a big championship going against Earl Anthony in 1979. Mike won the PBA national title, beating Anthony 245 to 217. All right, there's a strike after an open frame. Earlier we had a chance to talk to Mike Aulby about his using a light ball, light in weight.
I use a 15-pound ball mainly because I can do a little bit more with it and I can get the ball down the lane. And I would recommend it for anyone who wouldn't actually force the ball, anyone that couldn't handle a 16-pound ball, just someone so they could relax a little bit with the ball and feel comfortable. All right, there's a tip, and our Rolaids tip of the week with Nelson Byrne Jr. later will be on the grip. Well, strange left lane. The 3, 7, 9. Chris and Lee, we haven't seen much. It's the right-handers we catch, the 2, 8, 10, but it's the big hook ball player when the ball breaks very sharply and too late down the lane. Often leave any combination of the 3, 7. Now it's a lot more difficult with the 9-pin in there. A lot of speed and power, and in 3 frames, second open frame for 20-year-old Mike Aulby, and Anthony now is in a 23-pin lead. A spare working, shooting in the 3rd frame. He is on the approach of the right lane. Now the left-hander's bucket now. Chris, the 3, 5, 6, 9 are with the bucket for the right-hander would be the 2, 4, 5, 8. But we see two things that happen here in the match. Both players have been light except for one hit by Anthony where he went high, and that usually tells you that the lanes are a little tighter than we've seen so far this year. And marking with a spare here in Peoria, Illinois, world capital for soybean exportation. It's quite a city, Bo. The players just love it. This AMF Classic has really found a home here at Landmark Lanes, a beautiful facility for the players, and they really enjoy the Midwest. Handball, racquetball, you name it, this facility. Ray Becker's done a great job as a proprietor.
little education here today. There's a 6-8, so you're getting an opportunity to see a lot of spares being shot at.
The type of style that each player has is showing up in their pin reaction. Earl Anthony down and in is breaking the ball much earlier on the left-hand lane. He left a 6-8 on that particular shot. He was high the frame before, whereas Alby, trusting the ball, giving it a lot of room, has finished behind the head pin. Left lane looks like it could be a big problem for the left-handers.
So Earl Anthony comes up with his first open frame, and now the lead has been cut to only 6 pin. You'll see that good-looking part after the shot. Second strike for Mike Aulby. Here's Nelson.
Chris, and with me is Susan Anthony, and she's the wife of our all-time league money winner, Earl Anthony. And Susie, I have to ask you, at age 42, most of the players are over the hill on their way out. How does Earl keep his competitive edge and stay right near the top?
Well, being competitive is very natural for Earl. He likes to win at everything he does. After he won last week, all he said was, "That was nice, but I sure would like to win next week." It's just natural for him.
Well, thank you, Susie, and good luck to you. Back to you, Chris.
All right, and Mike Aulby, after a strike in the 4th frame, has a horrible-looking split here, the 4-6-7, 8-10 on the left lane. Just remarkable. Mike Aulby averaging through 42 games, 224, Anthony 223. So here is 20-year-old Mike. Went for it all the way. So it's his 3rd open frame in 5 frames. The very first game of our live coverage of the AMF MagicScore Open. Incidentally, here is Earl. You saw his wife, Susie, who is a graduate of Bradley University, which is right here, and at one time worked in the Sports Information Director's office. After an open frame, a strike in the 5th for Earl Anthony. We told you just prior to Alby bowling, only 6 pins separated them, but then now Anthony, after Alby's open, has come up with a strike and takes a 24-pin lead.
Chris, and I think this is where Anthony will show his experience in this match. He's been high and on the left-hand lane, and I think that knowing him, he will move out to where he went high and throw the ball much straighter and much harder to the pocket. A key shot to put Alby in a lot of trouble.
No, 4, 6, 10. Let's look at it again from a lower angle.
You can see that outside trajectory right out by the channel, and watch the ball break very sharply, cutting right through the middle, leaving the 4, 6, and the 10.
Nelson, we promised him variety, and the 5 participants were getting it in the shots. All right, Albany with 3 open frames, Anthony now with 2 and 12 pins separating these 2 professionals. Now, Alby is up, shooting in the 6th frame. He's on the right lane, 59 through 5. Can't believe it. About as he did 2 frames ago after an open, came back with a powerful strike. So now, he can double here. He cut the lead to 2 pins.
You see Alby has had an open in the 1st, 3rd, and 5th frame on this left-hand lane. Now he's in position to cut the Earl Anthony's lead down to 2 pins. What he must do is move to that outside line and throw it real hard, or play the big hook and hook it as much as he possibly can to get the ball to finish right at the pocket.
Hey, now only 2 pins in a seesaw battle between a great veteran against Alby. What a great tournament veteran Carmen Salvino had, finishing 6th. He is the alternate. He's in the Illinois Hall of Fame, the PBA Hall of Fame, the ABC Hall of Fame. And here's a man he admires, Anthony. All right, after an open, these professionals show you how it's done. An error, but they come right back with perfection, a strike in the 7th frame.
Earl Anthony, that style we talked about, so methodical, head steady, little bent elbow, nice long follow through. And look at how he finishes so solid at the line. Big, strong, powerful man, but perfect balance. Now we talked about the adjustment Earl had to make, and Alby made his adjustment. He went outside, threw the ball hard, got a strike on this lane. Anthony must do the same thing.
All right. can go to a 12-pin lead. And does. All right. Well, I got to ask you something. There were no sideboards down there, and you're just bowling at pins such as we see there. Very little action. Who would be the greatest at making strikes?
Well, Chris, for 25 years I've seen top players on that particular shot. Anthony used the sideboard, the 3 to knock out the 6-10, but pure solid strike hits, I'd have to go with that man Anthony and the great Don Carter in his heyday in the 50s and 60s.
And I can add that Nelson Burton Jr. might win the championship.
Thank you.
Well, we got the 3, 5, and 6, and we've had a change of leadership through the 42 games here, Nelson. It's been exciting.
Caldwell off to an early lead, Alby, then Buckley finishing very strong in the match play finals. And this was a 42-game format tournament, and we had a strong pro-am on Tuesday. Chris, he just did not get out of that ball. He hung up in the thumb hole, and it went way out over the line. No accuracy, air direction, something I don't see Mike Aulby do very often at all. He's usually a very hot, slashy type player. Just to emphasize it, he shot an 802 series for 3 games Thursday morning, so you know he's still bowling well, but he just hung up in the ball.
Good luck belt buckle with a silver dollar in it given to him by a friend. And he told me, Bo, earlier, it was given to him so he could always make 7 pins. The 7-pin, well, he's going to have a shot at it right now.
Probably the worst feeling you can have bowling, especially in the championship round, is when you lose the feel of the thumb hole. We saw Mark Roth do it in the U.S. Open where he had a little trouble. Alby's lost that feel now. He dropped that ball in the last shot. Fortunately, didn't get a split.
Oh, get rid of the belt buckle.